Hello, I'm Trish Cullenbach, and I live in Park Ridge, Illinois. We've lived in this home just a little over 2 years, and recently we remodeled the kitchen, and I'm sitting in it right now, and it is lovely, and I was very fortunate to be able to have Home Comfort help design and build it and go through all of the process with me. And then we moved here a little over 2 years ago, and this kitchen definitely needed remodeled. So we started the process. I investigated, looked up names, had no idea where to start, and I found a designer, and then I found another designer, and I wasn't happy with any of them. And then John from Home Comfort stopped by one day when we were having our backyard done, and Bobby was doing the lighting. And I said that I was getting ready to redo the kitchen, and he goes, "We can help you with that." And I said, "You guys are AC, electric, plumbing." He goes, "No, we're into the kitchens now." And that's when we started. John has been so fun to work with, and I laugh and say many times that he has saved myself from myself, because I had come up with some crazy ideas, and he'd go, now, you know, every piece of your kitchen can't be the star. And I'd think, well, I kind of want them all to be the star. But he helped me realize that designing a kitchen means that you have to step back and look at the overall end product. And I started with the star being my cabinet doors. It's Aframosia. I fell in love with the wood, and he helped me keep focused on that. And then when we went to pick out the granite, we went, I don't know how many places. And we'd come back, and there'd be a couple that I kind of liked, and he'd say, "No, we're going to go look some more." And finally, when I saw this granite, he said, "That's it." And I said, "How do you know that one's it?" And he goes, "Because it's the first one that made you smile." And it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But when John and I first met, we were deciding on the design of the kitchen. I said, you know, there's a few things that I just have to have. And one is, if I'm going to have high-end appliances, I'm no longer going to have the cold water in the door. So where am I going to get the cold water? Well, he knew he could find it. Even though they stopped manufacturing what he wanted to get, he found it. And we have cold water, instant cold water now at the kitchen sink, and it is wonderful. Another thing I said was the fan. I cook. This is a cook's kitchen. It's not just for show. And I said, I want a fan that's going to really pull the exhaust out. But I hate the noise, because you can't carry on a conversation if you've got this loud fan going. He figured out a way to put the fan in the wall, like outside, so that I've got all the air circulation going, but the sound is not very loud. So that was perfect. Great idea on John's part. And that filled one of my top priorities. Was I didn't want a noisy fan. And another thing that I wanted, and everyone told me, no, you don't want it, you won't use it, it's a waste of money, was a warming drawer. Well, we put a warming drawer in, and I use it all the time. As a matter of fact, right now I'm proofing bread in it, and I use it for keeping food warm, for slow cooking, for everything. It's my second oven, so we made that happen, and we put it in there. You don't even know that it's there because it's covered over with the Aframosia wood. Another thing that we put it, when the kitchen sink, when we were doing all of that, John had a great idea of the push button for the garbage disposal, since this is a peninsula, so I didn't have to like reach under the sink or go to the wall, so I just push the button and it works. I'd never even heard of that before. And the kitchen sink faucet is, oh, you've got to see this happen. You push it, and you just touch it, back of your hand, whatever, and it turns on. You touch it again and it turns off. And you know, your greasy hands, or you're working with chicken or something, and you just have to touch it. I'm sure that you've seen what this kitchen looked like to begin with. The soffits were everywhere. It just felt totally enclosed. And so we pulled all those out, and the day they all came out, John came in and he's looking, and he said, you know, if that's not, if the ceiling isn't a structural thing, which I don't understand any of that, but anyway, he told me, then we could probably lift the ceiling up. And lo and behold, it wasn't a structural thing. And we got to, and it makes this room look so much bigger, feels so much bigger. I kind of looked around and saw what are we going to put up there? And the tin ceiling just perfectly matched the whole motif of the room, the colors, the design, and it is beautiful. And it was the backsplash, that's a very important part also. But he convinced me, don't pick the backsplash until the granite gets laid, because it totally changes the vision and the view of the kitchen until you get that down. So once it was laid, we chose it. I looked all over for it, and we came up with this. And then Brian had to hang it. And it wasn't easy to do, but it looks beautiful. He did a great job. So I couldn't be more pleased. It's functional, it's beautiful, and I enjoy being in it every day. And one other thing that we did, there used to be a small pocket door dividing the dining room and the kitchen. Ugly, actually, small pocket door. And everybody wants their home to be open. You know, the open floor plan is the big thing. Well, I'm kind of old-fashioned. I don't like open floor plan. I like my dining room to be separate from my kitchen. I don't want anybody sitting in my dining room looking at the dirty sinks and the dirty dishes in the sink. So we compromised, but it was much more than a compromise. It was a beautiful addition to the kitchen and the dining room. We put double pocket doors, beautiful glass. It satisfies every need. I can close it off or I can have it totally open, because whenever you have a party, everybody wants to mingle through the house, and then it works perfectly that way. A dinner party, we close it, totally enjoy it. It's beautiful. And that was kind of the final touch, other than the lighting. You might take a note of that, and that's the jewelry in my home. The lights, you know, a 1960s ranch is a very masculine home. So I kind of went that direction. And then halfway through the whole process, I decided, you know what, this is my kitchen and I am not masculine. So I decided to put the jewelry in the kitchen, and I'm delighted with how it turned out. I am so happy that our neighbors recommended Home Comfort. We had just moved into the house, and we had one of those insurance policies where if something goes wrong, you call them and they send out you don't know who. And we had a number of we don't know who's show up at our door. And so we got Home Comfort in, and they fixed our electric, and they fixed our plumbing, and they did our electric in the yard, and they put in a whole new furnace and air conditioner. And then we found them for the kitchen too. And they work as a team. Dan's fabulous. If we've ever had any concerns or issues, he's right there to listen, and my husband spoke to him, and I've talked to him a few times, and he's a really good guy. John's been an angel, and he has saved me from myself a number of times because of the decisions I would have made without him there. And Bobby's been great with our electric, and Brian has made certain everything has worked and been put in when it's supposed to, and we couldn't be more happy. And we can't wait to start our next project, which is going to be next month. So it's the basement. And you know, I got my kitchen, and now my husband's got the basement. So we're going to start.